Hello and welcome to another episode of the True Blues podcast. Don't know why I'm being so positive there, because that was a pretty ordinary display by the Mighty Blues in the FA Cup against Sheffield United. Kieran, that was a pretty hard watch, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, mate, it was tough. I didn't enjoy the second half at all. The last hour of my life, really, well, hour and a half of my life, has just sort of been contemplating like what the fuck was that? I didn't really know like what the standout was. I've been like scouring Twitter of like other like Chelsea fans that I follow on Twitter, and obviously through our own Twitter account, like what people thought about it. And there were a lot more positive reviews than I feel like giving today. It was a rough watch.
Yeah, it was. I just, after such a positive performance against Atletico Madrid in the week, it's almost a bit concerning seeing that although I think 2-0 was extremely flattering for us, and if anything, you could argue I think Sheffield United probably deserved to win, in my opinion. I don't know. Do you agree with that, or am I being a bit too harsh?
Win, maybe. They definitely deserve more. I forget which commentator it was. I generally tone it down quite a lot. I'll get into a little bit later about what I think about general commentary for English football now, about how dire
Especially Martin Kepa-ing.
Oh God, don't get me started on that useless wanker. Yeah, we didn't necessarily deserve to lose, but we definitely didn't deserve to win in 90 minutes. And it's very flattering to say 2-0. I think that's Michael Richards pointed out. I didn't really keep the post game on that long, but he pointed out it's very flattering 2-0. 2-0 is probably a score that reflects what the game was. And it's the second time in a week where we've killed the game off and got our second in the 90 plus whatever minute. The good part of that was the obviously grabbing the goal again, another one against Sheffield United. I think the player obviously, and like had he had that opportunity taken by McGoldrick and the game potentially went to extra time, I think Fleck would have come away with man and match for you superb. But you know, we take it. We're on to the semi-finals again. I think it's what, 4th year in a row, or 4 years out of 5 we've been there. So it's just our experience and pedigree really saw us through it until the end, and a stroke of luck, really.
Yeah, mate. So obviously, but yeah, I think you got that pretty spot on there. Obviously, before the game, we sort of do our weekly lineup prediction. At first, we thought we got it absolutely horribly wrong. It then turned out that Chelsea tweeted the wrong lineup, and so we actually got it almost spot on. The only mistake we made was Azpilicueta for Christensen. So I was happy with the lineup they put out. I just expected a bit more from them. We'll start from the back. I thought Kepa was all right. I thought he did what he had to do. And defensively, we're pretty solid, weren't we? I was just a bit. I don't want to be a bit harsh on Cal because I'm a big Cal fan, but I felt we struggled to get him in the game. I felt when he got on the ball, like he tried his hardest, but I don't know. I just felt like we played a lot more on the left than we did on the right. I don't know if. Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but we just lacked a bit of fluidity, really. Do you know what I think? Like it just looked like they hadn't played with each other some of the times. Like Cal was running inside for a through ball and play it on the outside or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just think on Cal, I have a bit of a different perspective for it. I get, like, obviously we couldn't really get him in the game, but I thought defensively today was the first time in that position since Tuchel's been in charge that he's looked so lazy. He just looked like he didn't really want to get back defensively. There was like gaps where, like, obviously he's wanted to bomb forward. This is a sort of game where he can grab a goal and get his confidence up, and really like stats to show how well he's been playing in games he's featured heavily in. And I thought today he was a little bit lazy. Yeah, we played a lot down the left, and I thought Chile in the first half was really good. I thought he put in a pretty solid performance. Obviously, it was his shot, cross, whatever you want to call it, taking a deflection. Yeah, you never really know because Chile can bang them in, but you can also send them about 15 yards wide at times. And yeah, I thought we focused on that side a lot. I think we're trying to expose them a little bit more down that side. I think their right wing back, the name escapes me. He played a lot better in the second half, but defensively he was a bit like
Bogle
yeah,
or Bogle, Bogle.
something along the lines of that. He was very very much joining the attack, and we were just sort of exposing the gap he left there. And I think Ender Stevens is not a fantastic player, but he's definitely a serviceable lower end of the Premier League player. Like he does a good job. He's not really too fussed about getting forward, getting in the attack, playing in like a back five or as like a winger in midfield. He stays back, and I think he sort of took it upon himself just to track Cal all game, and like if anybody like Mount or Pulisic roamed over there, he sort of tried to keep hold of him. Obviously, he made a little mistake when Pulisic had that chance, which really he should have put away. But just overall, yeah, defensively, I point out I think Zuma was quite good playing down the middle of the back three. Yeah. I thought he did a job. He was quite aggressive, which obviously Rudiger's been putting in a lot of that into the team, and I think Zuma did a good job in place of that sort of, not necessarily the role, but just the influence that Rudiger's been having on the game doing that. Defensively, overall, we looked very shaky. We sat back and let them come at us a little bit too much for my liking. So
I'm not sure if that was our defence's fault, in my opinion. I think in the midfield we struggled a little bit. I think you mentioned it to me just before the podcast. Kovacic wasn't as good as he was against Atletico, and I really think that sort of took its toll on Billy Gilmore. I think Billy Gilmore, by the looks of it, isn't quite as quick or as sharp or as agile as a Kovacic or a Kante. So I think he needs kind of one of them playing next to him in this formation, especially with the way we play with the pressing, which Kovacic just wasn't for me at the races today. And I think it kind of showed a little bit. I don't think he was bad, or horrendous, but I don't know. It just something didn't quite click in there for me. I don't know if that credit to Sheffield United. I thought they set up really well. They, considering lost 5-0 last weekend, they pressed well. Maybe we just have to give credit to them.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I mentioned a lot about it. Like full credit to them, like players like Fleck. McGoldrick obviously put a lot of pressure on, and really he'll be kicking himself thinking about like how he's really let the side down there with missing that opportunity. And it was a good point again made by Michael Richards and Ashley Cole at the end of the game, where they were like, it just seemed like he was celebrating before it went in. He just like he saw it and just thought, "Yep, that's me." And obviously he's bagged a few against us. He got 2 against us last season. He scored against us earlier this year. He's 3 of his 8 Premier League goals against Chelsea. So obviously he fancied himself a little bit, and he just bottled it. Really, like there's no real 2 ways about it. He's just bottled it. Credit to them. I think a lot of players would be pretty pissed off with him the way he let that chance go missing, and then we just burst back on the counter attack in the 90th minute and got a second. But yeah, full credit to him. They're very unfortunate for the second. You can see Phil Jagielka when the ball went in the 90th. He looked pissed. He looked like it wasn't what he wanted to. That's not the way he felt the game should have went, and he's well within his rights to feel that way. He's completely right. We really didn't put enough pressure on them after a good spell early on. Like I put in my notes prior to the game that he like if we played with that conviction and that like instinct to just attack and just go at them and put them under so much pressure that we could have had 5, 6, 7 in this game. But we dropped off. We hit about 35 minutes. We just dropped off, and I think Sheffield United took the game to us. They pressed really well from the beginning. It didn't really seem to bother us until the second half. And I think, like you mentioned, I think Billy Gilmore he was exposed a little bit today. Like varying opinions across social media about him. I just thought he tried a lot to put the killer ball in, but he tried to do a bit too much for me. And he's exposed, and it really shows. I thought before the game, maybe he could be a good, less able replacement when we don't have Jorginho on the side. A player that will spray the ball around, move the ball out from the back, bring it up from deep, and look for those kind of killer passes into sort of galvanise the team. And he really sort of disappointed me today. I think you are right. Kovacic let him down a little bit. He was bang average. like he didn't really offer much support where I felt like Gilmore had to do a little bit more, which probably affected him going forward.
Yeah.
But
Although I will
they
touch on.
neutralised that midfield a lot. Sorry, yeah, carry on.
Yeah. No, you're right. But I think I touched on it in the Atletico Madrid game. I'm pretty sure it was either that one or the game before where I said Kovacic missed an opportunity early on in the game to make that forward pass, and I'd like to see him make that intent a bit more often. So I did actually really like that from Billy Gilmore. I think it could be down to a bit of lack of game time that some of those passes were maybe overhit or just slightly wrong. I love that attacking, like sort of forward-thinking intent. A lot of young players, they could like try and play it safe just so they don't make mistakes, and do you know what I mean? But he just always even though he had a bad game today, still looked up for it. He put in a big tackle in the first half, won the ball, and then that is when he did try and slide Hudson-Odoi in, but they were just on different wavelengths.
Yeah, I think that was the best part of the game for him, really. I really thought we were going to score there.
Yeah.
I was like, what a bloke, fighting for the badge. He's thrown a tackle in on the edge of their box and he's going to play an unreal through ball through. And it kills me. It popped up on my feed the other day where it was Fabregas's birthday at some point in the last week or so. And it showed the assist, the one he had against Burnley. His first game for us, the Monday night game he played, where the ball got like chipped across to him and on the half volley, he just volleyed it into the ground right through to his shoulder. And I was like, we just don't have a player who's got that vision and that creativity in the attacking third.
Yeah.
And we've sort of been helped out by like a lot of pace, like Werner making good runs around the back. Like Mount, like somebody said today, I think it might have been Richards again, like he doesn't always look the quickest, whatever he doesn't need to be, but he got a bit of turn of pace about him. But we didn't really have any intent, and just overall, I thought we just dropped off. We didn't really have the work rate, and it's a shame really because Kante really wouldn't have let that happen had he started. But we shouldn't have needed him against a team that have won 4 games outside of the FA Cup this season. Like their wins have all been in the FA Cup. They've just sacked their boss, who's been there for donkey's years. They just got battered by Leicester, who are obviously slightly above us in the table. Like we should have killed them today, regardless. We still had Mount, we had Giroud. Obviously, we brought Havertz and Ziyech from later on. It just was overall just disappointing for me. I didn't really feel like we looked like the same team. Obviously, we had a fair amount of changes, but we didn't look even remotely like the same team that played against Atletico Madrid in the week. And it's a bit disheartening because we're playing teams of that similar standard. Like we've got West Brom coming up next. We'll get into it a little bit more later. But like we want to be murdering teams. Like we want a Jose mentality where, like I know we brought this game up a few times, but like Wigan, the last day of this season, we go and beat them 8-0. Like we don't go 1-0 and sit back and defend, and then get a counter attack in the 90th minute to get 2. We score 5 in the first half. And that's the sort of mentality we should have went in the game today. I don't know if that's the tactics, the way we're set up, the way we sort of neutralise one another, playing a relatively similar formation. We didn't find the gaps that we can against a 4 at the back team. So we've got a lot of width, and then we've got players that spread wide. But overall today, I just thought in the midfield we lacked a lot of fight in the midfield, and that's why they were able to take the game to us, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's an interesting conundrum, really, because I do find we do, like you said, like we missed that Fabregas figure, like someone who can create something out of nothing. Like I remember a prime example of that is a goal against Arsenal where we won 2-0, and Fabregas just lofts the ball over the top from Costa, and Costa runs through and just dinks it over the keeper to make it 2-0. And we sort of just lack that sort of vision. And that sort of creativity. We've got a lot of so-called creative players, but we just don't seem to score that many goals. I'm loving the clean sheet. Absolutely love that. And it's not as if we're playing like Mourinho is for Spurs, and we're just sitting off and countering teams and nicking the odd goal. We're dominating teams and just not getting the end product. I wouldn't say it's concerning at the moment, but it is slightly worrying that, we're going to talk about it later on, but we've got a favourable league. Like, we just have to offer a bit more. Like, there was a one chance, I think, Pulis the first half, sorry, where
Just dropping off a little bit more again there, mate. While Johnny's trying to reconnect there, afternoon K-Man, obviously we've sent a couple of messages in, we'll get into those in a little bit. I think Johnny's connection's just a little bit crap at the minute, a bit like the connection between our midfield and the defenders.
moment sort of.
Sorry, mate, you cut out quite a bit there.
Oh, okay, mate. I was also quite a bit disappointed with Giroud today, mate. I thought he was that today was his opportunity to lay a marker down, show that he's the big striker. Last time he played was the big goal, I think, in Atletico Madrid, maybe. And today he just didn't offer a lot.
Yeah, 100%, mate. I felt like he was just a bit lazy today, and obviously he got taken off and Mount got put down the middle, maybe a bit of a spark, move around a little bit more, just do a bit more overall for the team, and there was a lot to be desired up front. Well, maybe a Timo Werner we could have done with just a ball around the back and use his pace. Like, they haven't got the paciest defenders. Like Jagielka's hitting 40 almost, so I think it was just overall it was pretty poor, and we didn't seem to want it that much. Should we get into our friend K-Man has dropped a few messages in there? Should we get into those?
Thumbs up that section. I purposely didn't mention Christian Pulisic because we're going to talk about him in a second. But like you said, I think this is a very good opportunity to listen to these messages.
They've done it again. They've done it again. Tottenham Hotspur. They've done it again. What's going on, everybody? It's your man, K-Man 10 with another bit of footy. And yeah, mate, what can I say, mate? Yeah, I was banned, but I'm back. Stereo. They've done the right thing. I'm in the jacuzzi at the moment. But yeah, mate, what a time to be a Chelsea supporter. I am over the moon. I am over the moon, mate. Yeah. Arsenal are shit. Spurs are shit. Yeah. North London's white. North London's red. Nah, mate. North London is dead. London is blue. Up the Chelsea. Come on, you Blues. By the way, has anyone seen Diego Simeone? Has anyone seen Luis Suarez? Oh, yeah, he's in Rudiger's pocket.
Getting a few things out there. That would be why he wasn't here on a Wednesday night after the Atletico game. We'll just do these two more, and we'll get into our man Christian Pulisic.
Yes, mate.
Q Sarah, whatever will be. Chelsea's going to Wembley. Q Sarah, up the Blues. I didn't even get to talk about the Champions League, mate. Champions League is my favourite competition, and the Champions League trophy is coming home with Chelsea, mate. Yeah, we're going to smash Porto, we're going to smash Real Madrid or Liverpool. I don't care who it is, mate, and I hope we get Bayern in the final. Reverse 2021 and it's 2012, mate. We all know what happened in 2012, mate. Yeah, Drogba owned Bayern, and you know what? Giroud is going to own Bayern, mate. Yeah, it's going to happen again, mate. It's coming home.
Yeah, obviously
That's a very good point there, okay, man.
Yeah, we'll get into a bit of a
100%.
recap. We'll talk about the draw a bit later on, but we'll get into Christian Pulisic today. I'll just kick it off with what I thought. I thought he looked a lot more positive today. He was obviously, I've been quite critical of him whining a lot recently, and obviously you're a bit more of a forgiving bloke than me, where I'm not really here to listen to shit like that and him moaning and being sat on the ground complaining. But I thought he was quite good today. I thought he looked a lot more positive. He looked like a spark in the team that we kind of needed. We kind of needed a little bit more from him. But what do you reckon? Like, what do you think his place is in the side? Like, where is he going to fit in with our current setup and the way TD runs the team?
It's an interesting one, really. To start with in the game, I thought he was I don't think he was completely at it. And then he did a couple of good runs, and I think that really boosted his confidence. He should have scored, I want to say, about the 35th minute. Should have scored then. He went for a clever sort of dink over Ramsdale, but fair play. I think that was a good save. He was out off his line quick. Good save, credit where credit's due. And then second half he came out. We barely started, and he put in a fabulous bit of skill, the old flip-flap between two players. And to see him do that just shows that his confidence is coming back. And then could he have done maybe a bit better with sort of the outcome after that? I don't know, probably being a bit harsh there, but he looked a lot better than he has been. Got to give him credit where credit's due. And like you said, he was probably our spark from the game today. A little bit concerning because he wasn't even anywhere near his best, and he was sort of our best player today. But it's interesting sort of situation he finds himself in, because I think he's better almost like sort of out wide. When he's sort of out wide and then he sort of drifts in with the ball. He currently sort of playing as sort of like an inside forward. He already starts sort of very central, and I don't know if his close dribbling is really good. I don't know. Do you think he has the awareness to play in that role? I don't know. Like he reminds me a bit of Eden Hazard. Eden Hazard would sort of, I don't know, he'd just be much more slicker than him. Like Pulisic has got that sort of dribbling, but Eden Hazard, I don't know, would just be a lot more, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's a lot more direct, more of a natural goal scorer, Hazard. And I think a lot of Pulisic's issues come through the way the team's set up. That's exactly it. The way the team's set up is to play more narrow, more as like a playmaker opposed to like somebody dropping in behind and like being able to be sort of not necessarily number 10, but just an attacking, inverted attacking midfielder. Like they're playing very narrow. That I don't think that suits Pulisic. I think he's more of a wide player. He obviously got that big opportunity, like you mentioned. That was cutting in from out wide and being able to capitalise on his pace and exposing, especially a team that play like a 5/3 at the back. Like the way they're set up for the pace he has, he is very he's a beneficiary of playing against teams like that. And I just think the way our team's set up, I don't think he's set up to play 90 minutes week in, week out. He just doesn't have the play style for it. It suits like a Havertz, Ziyech, a Mount a lot more. Obviously, they've flourished a lot more. They've all got either goals or goals that are robbed off them, as Havertz had against Everton, and then like setting more up. Like they've all got their contributions, and he hasn't really shown his. And I think when
that's what I mean.
Things up a little bit, like
I think that's because they got that awareness. Like they take the ball in the half turn. It's a bit more calm, so they're used to being in the centre of the pitch. He's a wide player, so he's used to, if he gets the ball with his back to the way we're sort of shooting, it doesn't matter as much because you can just play back to the fullback. But when you're in such a central role and need to be creative, I think he should maybe take the ball in the half turn a little bit more.
Yeah, it just depends if he's got that in his locker. Really, we've got to sort of analyse whether he has that that creative spark in his game. Like, does he have that? Is that natural to him, or is that something he has to work on? Like, is that something he lacks, and that's why he's not getting the production and the goals and what have you that he got towards the end of last season? I think he's a good utility player. He's a spark player that we can have, and he would be suited to a potentially. Well, I don't know about you, but potentially he could be suited to like a central, like come off the bench as like a striker role, like leave those two like cams, as you say, to play the balls in behind and be a bit creative, and he makes the runs in behind and gets the shots and gets the opportunities, similar to what we want like Werner to have. Like he could be a good direct alternative to Timo Werner. So like that potentially could be, the way we're set up now, the best role for him. But the way it plays now, it doesn't cater to his skills, I don't think. I think he's better as a winger in like a 4-3-3, and like he has midfielders behind him to play the ball into him and like take the centre backs on. I think it's a bit too congested down the middle for him. I thought he was quite good today, but obviously he could have done with a bit more. He had 2 chances where he probably should have scored. I think it was a bit tough that obviously Ways absolutely sent the 2 defenders to the shops, and then he's had the shot and he's trying to stab home the second chance. Like, he's a bit unfortunate. The ball popped up in a weird way to him, but you just hope that he can do a lot for the team in a suitable role. Like, be a player who can more often than not probably come off the bench and be a spark. Like, he's not going to be a starter the way we set up and the players we have I know obviously we paid a fair amount from, I think just under 50 mil we paid for him, but we could really do with him just like taking his chances. He will get more starts if he takes his chances. You look back at a lot of the games he has played, he has really not necessarily bottled his chances, but he's left a lot on the table and a lot to be like desired. For me, I think there's a lot more he can do, and he hasn't, which is why he doesn't get the opportunities. And the team's not set up for him. The team's set up for the fact that we have 3 number 10s. Realistically, we've got Havertz, we've got Ziyech, we've got Mount. They're all traditional number 10s. The team's set up for them. That's how he's set up. He's come into the club, TT, and has looked at it and went, well, we've got 3 players who play the exact same position. So when we had Frank in, he was playing like Mount was playing deeper, Havertz was playing a sort of like a 10, and Ziyech was playing out wide when all 3 of them were playing together. But he's playing 2 of them in a more natural role, and then the other one's probably on the bench. It just really depends, like on Pulisic's willingness to adapt his game, like Hazard did. If you think of Hazard when he first signed for us, back in I think in 2012 after we won the Champions League, 2013 maybe, after the Europa League victory, he was a winger and not really a player that went like direct and forward, and like he adapted his game a bit more, and obviously that's when he excelled and pushed on to be, in my opinion, in the period of time he was in the Premier League, he was the best player in the league more often than he wasn't. Obviously towards the end of his like run at Chelsea, there was De Bruyne and whatever and what have you, but I thought for a good 5, 6, 7 years, when he adapted properly, he was the best player in the league. And Pulisic really needs to just take some pointers off that and like learn and grow and develop and have a willingness to learn to really like progress for Chelsea.
Yeah, in all fairness to the bloke, we have been quite critical of him, but he's still only 21, 22. Either way, still a very young player, so he still does have a lot to learn, which is exciting. I think you made a very, very good point there about how we've got 3 other number 10s in Mount, Havertz, and Ziyech, and I think that sort of showed on Wednesday. Just we're talking about fluidity and stuff, and they just all felt comfortable. Ziyech and Havertz just felt comfortable in those positions, just interchanging naturally, really, didn't they? And even Werner, which I quite like something Pulisic to be able to do that a bit more, just sort of drift in and out. But yeah, mate, he's got a bit to that.
Yeah,
Scared of playing him even 20. Hopefully, at the end of the season, he'll have a nice holiday and we'll actually get a proper pre-season in, which hopefully will help him out and he might come back a bit fresher. But who knows what's going to happen there at the moment. So moving on then, I said West Brom coming up next at the weekend. They'll probably be a pretty solid outfit. We probably need to show a bit more spark and creativity and energy going into that one, don't we?
Yeah, we do. We really need to sort of take our opportunities when they're presented to us, and we need to push on and be killers, really. Kill the game off early on. Like, I don't want to wait until the 90th minute to get our second goal. I want the second goal in the 40th or 30th minute, like early in the second half, especially against teams like that, like teams we should be beating comfortably. I don't want to have to rely on sort of players coming off the bench and making an impact and doing this and doing that. Like, we want to kill the game off, and especially against the team against West Brom, like they set up every week and come out and they'll get one and they'll leak into the end of the second half. But we aren't a team right now who comes out of the gates fast. Obviously, we spoke about that after the Atletico Madrid game in the week. We don't come out full steam ahead like we should. We don't have that same killer instinct that we previously had. So hopefully we set up nicely, we put them under a lot of pressure, and we come out and get wins, because really, like, we're pushing on the Champions League and the FA Cup and whatever and what have you, but we need to start killing games off in the league. Like, we've obviously had a good run of results. Beat Liverpool, beat Everton, we beat like Spurs and teams like that. We need to just sort of kill the game off and set up the same way we are. And I think we really need to just integrate Jorginho back into the team and utilise what he offers to the team.
Yeah, but it's going to come at a pretty big time as we'll have our Champions League or so after that. So it really is. It would be a lot better for us if we win 3-0 comfortably than to scrape a 1-0 win, because then that suddenly Porto will think, do you know what, actually, like, if we just set up shop, we can easily nick a goal against these boys. And like they won't be able to break us down. So yeah, it's certainly actually an interesting one, because we've actually struggled against some of the weaker teams, in my opinion. We played fantastically against Atletico Madrid, fantastically against Spurs, and then we fought Saints, who I think lost six in a row or something. We couldn't break them down. Same with Wolves. Wolves were on a bad run, couldn't break them down. So it's going to be really interesting to see how we go against West Brom for me.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be interesting to see how we start. If we start bright and we get a goal early and we keep putting the pressure on and we don't drop off the way we previously had, then I think we'll be in good stead. But like you said, it's going to drop. Like we've got fixtures dropping in between the Champions League quarterfinal coming up now, and obviously with the draw, like we're realistically, most fans, I imagine a lot of the players will be looking forward towards a semi-final. With a bit of like, obviously we'll touch on that a little bit once we finish up looking forward to West Brom. But we just need to come out and we need to be ruthless. We need to be scoring 3, 4, 5 goals against teams like that. We need to, like, our goal difference is quite good, but that's because we haven't conceded. It's something like, so it's like, I think we hit dead on 700 minutes without conceding a goal, and we haven't conceded a goal at home for like 12 or so hours. But we need to come out, we need to get more goals, and we need to kill teams off, and we don't want to be feeling like we've got to rely on defending enough to kill the game off. Like, we want to kill the game off because we're set up well enough defensively that a team won't get 1 or 2 goals against us. Like, holding 1-0 leads isn't really enough at this point. Obviously, like, the boys have been brilliant, but we need to just sort of kill the game and take charge of it, and never really feel like uncertain about whether we're going to concede or not, like we did today.
Yeah, West Brom they're not a great side, are they? They've been down there the whole time. I say that, we drew 3-3 with them last time we played them. But yeah, I mean, it's at the bridge, so we're not going to lose. It's just, how we fare. I don't know. So we've got 3 more messages here from, I believe, the man Kepa-ing. I'm just going to play them, Kieran, and see what they say.
Yeah.
What I was going to say though, do you guys want to hear a funny joke? Arsenal and Spurs. What's going on, lads? It's good to be back. It's good to be back. You know, number one on stereo. It's your man, Kepa-ing. I'm in the jacuzzi. I had to turn off the bubbles so we can actually speak. But yeah, mate. What can I say? How are we?
Good to have you back, K-Man. K-Man, follow us on Instagram and whatnot.
Yeah, definitely.
Follow us on Instagram, K-Man. What is it, Kieran? True Blues Podcast on Instagram. I can't remember what the Twitter is.
At True Blues Pod, which if anybody listening to this, go over on Twitter and follow at True Blues Pod. It's not set up as well as our Instagram with people following. We need a few more followers. Getting stuff out there. We'll be tweeting like stuff about the game, and like Memory Monday's obviously coming up. We've got a banger coming up tomorrow that you showed me earlier, Johnny. I'm very excited for that. A brilliant memory. I completely forgot about it, and it's really gonna bring enjoyment out of fellow Chelsea fans. And K-Man, you'll definitely love it because it's got a lot to do with Arsenal anyway.
Yeah, definitely. He sent another message. So before we get into our next section, just checking the Arsenal score actually at the moment, and that looks like a cracker of a game. It was 2-0 before we came on, Kieran. It's now 3-2.
It's 3-1. It was 3-1 before I came on. Anyway.
Was it?
That's what I see.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Listen, 3-2. That's a cracker.
Oh, and at half time they've
Yeah,
taken Lacazette's goal off him, and Souček has been given a goal and an own goal in that game. But I saw a brilliant tweet from Gary Lineker right before we jumped on, mate, which was Arsenal and Spurs are really fighting out to see who can finish lower in the league this season. And I just thought that was brilliant because it's so true. Both of them just like they're getting such good positions, like they string a few good results together, and then they play like just a proper bang average team and just can't do anything. It's not really ideal for us, is it? We can really do with Arsenal grabbing a point here.
Yeah, exactly what I was just about to say, mate. I'm just looking at the table now, and West Ham are equal on points with us now. The goal difference slightly worse. We would have points here, and then for them to actually have to come and beat us to overtake us, that would have been ideal. I mean, there's still 25 minutes to go. But yeah. Two more messages from K-Man, and then we'll get on to our Champions League reaction.
Mate, I'll follow your Twitter, mate, but I want to be on the show soon. I want to be on the show. I want to speak my end, yeah? I want to speak my truth. Nah, mate, I don't care about Arsenal. I pay as much attention to Arsenal as I do to Fulham. They're irrelevant.
Tell you what, K-Man, if you follow us on Twitter, we might be able to sort it out for you. What did you say, Kieran?
Yeah, definitely. But I think he's telling a fib there, mate. Because one of our few followers is me, and another one is one of those random fucking OnlyFans bots. Which I mean, it don't bother me that being a follower, but there's not much interaction, is there? Obviously, we spoke about a few other Chelsea fan followers that I got myself the other day. Potentially another guest on the pod with the one that follows me on Twitter the other day that we were talking about.
Yeah, we'd love to have her on the show.
Yeah, definitely. So we should just get into obviously wrapping it up, talking about the Champions League draw that happened on Friday. Kick us off, mate.
I was watching it and I was so excited for it, mate. I just had a mate was going to happen. I didn't think it could have gone any better for us. When I did see Man City be the first name pulled out of the hat, and then when I saw Borussia Dortmund, I was like, it's just right. That's classic City, and that means we're getting Bayern Munich. And then we're the fourth draw out of the hat, and we got Porto. You just love to see it. Love to see it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I couldn't. I couldn't watch it. I was working. Oh, sorry, mate. What was that?
No, carry on, mate. You carry on, mate. I was just going to say, we
unfortunately,
avoided probably the three favourites.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, I couldn't watch it. I was working at the time. I was in a meeting on Zoom, and I was just sat there. And a few of the other lads, I just started a new job, and a few of the other lads, Chelsea fans. So I was sort of sat there like, oh, shit, are they going to care if I mute myself quick and just go stick the drawer on? Because this is right before our lunch break was coming up, and I was like, oh, fuck. Like, we're doing like different training stuff, sat in a meeting with like supervisors and what have you. And I was like, oh, God, might get in a bit of trouble here if I stick the drawer on and I forget to mute myself and they just hear people just talking about who's drawn who and about records in the Champions League coming up. I was like, oh, for Christ's sake. And then obviously I saw it pop up on my phone. I got a text from you and I got a text from another friend of mine, Michael, both saying like best possible result. I was like, oh God. I was like, who have we got? I completely forgot about like Porto. But yeah, Porto, it's good. Like we discussed it a little bit on the day about how it's not a guaranteed win. Like we by no means have had an easy draw. Like when you get to this stage in competitions like the Champions League, there is no easy draws. Teams are there for a reason.
Agreed.
They didn't knock out Juve like by complete luck. They were absolutely brilliant in that second leg, taking them to extra time. And my Pepe had an outstanding performance in that game. But as things go, like we've avoided Bayern, like you said, we've avoided Man City, we've avoided PSG. We obviously said after the Atletico game, it just seems written in the stars that we're going to get PSG. TT's old team, they sacked him right before Christmas, like serious Scrooge behaviour. And I was like, oh yeah, God. After the podcast finished, I was like, God, we really are going to draw them, aren't we? Like it's going to be PSG away from home in the first leg. We're going to have an uphill battle going into the second leg, and then the semi-finals could be a myth, really. we've avoided that, and obviously then going into the potential semi-final draw, it's Liverpool or Madrid, which the way both those teams are playing right now, you take either of them, really, wouldn't you? You wouldn't be as frightened to play a team like that as you would a PSG, a Bayern, a Man City. So it's looking up, really. There's a lot of high hopes that we can do the 2012-2021 reverse and bring the Champions League trophy back to London, the only place it's ever been in London, as we all know.
Yeah, it's certainly an interesting one. It could, if everything goes, he should be further in the Champions League than PSG, which is quite funny, really, isn't it? He should get Chelsea to the semi-finals, but obviously who knows, because Porto actually kept a clean sheet against Man City, and I don't know how many teams have been able to do that this year. Let's just put it that way. So they're not certain. Bashir got sent off last game, and I think Oliveira is serving a suspension. I could be wrong, but that just makes it slightly easier for us, and we'll have Mount and Jorginho back. So can only look positively, really, towards it.
Yeah, definitely. Like that, we've just got to be positive about our progression in the Champions League, and obviously hope for the best. And if we play like we did against Atletico, like there'll be very few teams that will be able to break us down, because we made no mistakes. We dominated the midfield, and we had defenders just all over what are considered world-class strikers. Obviously, looking forward way in advance. Like Bayern, the first time we'll play them, if we do get there, would be the final. Obviously, a repeat of what happened in 2012. Like they have one of those strikers that they mentioned. They mentioned in the same breath Suarez and Lewandowski, and obviously Lewandowski realistically has been the best number 9 in the world the last 3 or 4 years. So that'll be an interesting test if it comes to it. But I'm hopeful that we go through. I think we've got a very good chance of making it through to the semi-finals at least. No disrespect to Porto, I just think we will have the class and the conviction to just beat them out in the first leg, and then hold on solid in the second leg, like we did in the most recent tie that we had with Atletico Madrid. And then just looking forward to, obviously, either a trip to Madrid or a trip up north to Liverpool.
Yeah, mate. Imagine though, if we give Robert Lewandowski the chance that whatever McGoldrick had today.
He would have scored twice. He would have headed the ball in, the ball would have come back out the net, and he would have scored again.
Yeah.
That's my biggest issue with today's game. We've got a lot better players to potentially play against, and they won't miss chances like that. So we need to be like we were against Atletico and not give them the opportunity to have a chance like that.
Yeah, mate. Well, there is certainly a lot to look forward to as a Chelsea fan. Fixtures coming up. Obviously, it is the international break coming up, so we will still be doing podcasts. We're undecided a little bit on what we're going to do. We've got some ideas, so obviously keep following the YouTube channel and whatnot. And do have to DM or tweet us on Twitter. Just before we just go, Kieran, I think K-Man's got 3 messages for us, or someone has. So just listen to these and then we'll round up, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, you're not on about that. I know who you mean. Yeah, I know who you mean, mate. I'm not thick. I know who you mean. Don't tell me it's that. Is it Astrid? Astrid Wet, mate. You get her on the podcast, mate. I'm going to unfollow. She's the biggest fucking weirdo I've ever met in my life, yeah? She's an absolute clown, yeah? Every time she uploads a picture, mate, I forgot it was Pancake Day, yeah? So don't get Astrid Wet on that podcast, I'm telling you. We'll kick off.
Hello, mate. I'm back.
Sorry.
I'll play the next message now.
Yeah, so forget about that skit. Get me on the show. I've just followed you. Is it Kieran? I think I just followed you. So I've just messaged you there, up the Chelsea. So follow me back. We can get talking. We would get me on the show. And yeah, mate, that's that. But up the Chelsea. Come on, you. Jurgen Klopp, mate. Jurgen Klopp, the best manager in the league, is Thomas Tuchel. Yeah.
Cheers, K-Man, for the support. Have fun in your jacuzzi. Anything else to add, Kieran, before we sign off?
No, just up the Chelsea, steaming ahead, potentially an FA Cup and Champions League final trip for us this year if things go well. Just hopefully we perform a little bit better and get to West Brom after the international break. And like you said, we've got a few things cooking up, and we'll obviously update on the social media platforms of what we're going to do next and what the plan is. While obviously the players are away playing in the most pointless form of football in the world, which is international football. You know my opinions on it. I think it's a load of bollocks. It has no reflection on how good players are at the end of the day. The World Cup is
No, not when you're playing San Marino, a bunch of plumbers.
Yeah.
Why England have to qualify against them? God knows.
Yeah. At the end of the day, you play the best competition in the world in the Champions League. The World Cup doesn't even come close to me. Everyone can watch the World Cup, blah blah blah. But like when teams like Costa Rica and like get into the World Cup, like how many Costa Ricans do you know that have played in the Champions League final? The only Costa Rican player I know that's played in the Champions League final is Navas, that plays for PSG. That's it. Like everybody else, unknown. Obviously, Arsenal, that Campbell lad. What happened to him? He played about 3 good games and then nobody heard from him again. It's pointless, but we'll get into it. We'll probably recap on some old Chelsea moments, talk about some of our like favourite players that we've seen. Obviously, we've seen a lot of Chelsea boys doing punditry roles recently. Obviously, Ashley and Joe Cole have both been on there. Probably recap on a few things to do with JT. A lot of good birthdays that have just come up. Drogba's has just passed. Torres, Fabregas. So just stay up to date with us and we'll let you know what's going on.
Absolutely, mate. I think that's it from the True Blues podcast today, guys. Cheers for listening. Give us a like and a subscribe, and we'll see you in the week. Toodle pip.
See you later, boys.